Hello and welcome to another Intro to Programming and Database course tutorial. Today we're going to be talking about database management system. In last week's you guys had a chance to go through a lot of the material that I posted out under the course week button, which was about a lot of information about the database. So before we start working on the hands-on stuff for this week, I would really want to go over some of those concepts with you again. So we're going to be looking at these concepts today, starting from Database Management System, also called DBMS. I'm also going to talk about RDBMS, which is Relational Database Management System. We'll talk about tables, rows, and columns. Real quick, real brief, to the point, so that you can once again refresh on these concepts. First of all, the word database pretty much means anything that is based on data. So it's a place where things gets to be stored. When they're stored, they're very raw, don't make a lot of sense. For example, things like $4.50, things like James, things like 3.5. So none of this information really makes any sense. Similarly, computer science, similarly, Java programming, none of this idea really makes sense until we start putting things together. So things like computer science program is the major of James Anderson, who has basically paid $450 for the tuition, and he earned a GPA of 3.5 for that particular course. Now we're starting to put the data together, and that's where the information starts coming in. So database is pretty much a place where data gets to be stored. Then in order to interact with this data, we work with a set of tools which allow us to update the data, delete the data, put in the new data, and pretty much a bunch of tools that help us utilize this data in terms of information, in terms of knowledge, in terms of wisdom. Together it makes up the database management system. So management system is a component of the database that helps us manage this database. So in order for this database to exist in these times, what we do is we create a relational database. So what we do is we divide the database's data into multiple tables, where a table is like a spreadsheet. It has columns and it has rows. And then we start linking the data together so that there is the minimum amount of redundancy in the tables and the data is linked. For example, when you get enrolled in the school, not everything that pertains to you is stored in one place. Your personal information is stored in one place. Your academic information is stored in one place. Your accounts information is stored in someplace else. And all this data is linked via your student ID. So that's the whole concept of a relational database management system, that your data is spread across the entire database. However, your data could be linked at any point in time. So if I would like to log into the database and say, okay, I want to look James Anderson payments for the last quarter or for the last semester. I want to see all the students who have not paid their dues on time. I want to see all the students who have a GPA of 4.0. I want to see all the graduates who actually got jobs. So all of these data could be put together in the terms of information, knowledge, wisdom, however you want to look at it. So relational database management system really puts these tables in relationship to each other. It's in such a way that you can actually get the data across these tables in one place. That's why tables are also called relations. Tables store records. So you basically call them rows or records or tuples. These are different terminologies that are used across the board. And records pretty much are a collection of data items that are actually placed in columns, but when we talk about one particular instance or one particular representation, it's called a record. So a record comprises of several values, and all those values put together make up one record. For example, your driver's license record holds a lot of information about you: your name, your driver's license number, your address, your hair color. All of these things make up your driver's license record, your picture. And each individual item, like name, hair color, height, picture, all of these are considered to be columns or fields, which are common for everybody. So everybody has a name, everybody has an address, everybody has a hair color, everybody has a height, everybody has a picture. All these are considered to be columns or fields, generic ideas. And then when we start putting in actual values in it, that starts making up records. So this is XYZ person's record. This is Abby Anderson's record. This is James Anderson's record. This is Ali Khan's record. This is Ahmed Muhammad's record. All of these different names that I've used are basically different records that may fall under the driver's license database, and we use a lot of tools to manage this system to be able to interact with this data. So in short, I just wanted to take a little brief overview of the concepts that you've read last week. I didn't interact with you through any of the videos or audios last week. I wanted you to read and reflect. And this week, we're going to be going into the hands-on activities as to how you go about creating a relational database and how you go about creating individual tables, how to link them, how to create fields, and all those concepts we're going to be putting back together. So when we talk about columns and fields, they store data. They store actual values. Now this is where we're going to be linking things back to the programming where we declared variables. Variables have data types so that the system will know what kind of value they can store, how much space to allocate for them. Very similarly, fields in the database tables have data types. They have to tell the underlying system how much data they can actually hold and what kind of data they can actually hold. So when we do the transition over, we grab the value from a field and we put it into a variable. Or if you're getting a collection of values, we put them in an array or a collection. So this is how things could relate back and forth, because variables and arrays are temporary memory and databases are permanent. In order for the application to use the data, it needs to grab the data from the permanent storage, move into the temporary storage, and bring it to the forefront to the graphical user interface where the user interacts with the data, and the data could be kept temporary or could be sent back to the permanent storage. Hope you would have enjoyed this tutorial. Catch you in the next one when we start working with creating a database and interacting with it. Thank you for watching this tutorial. Have a good day.